There is a hidden rule that 99% of men after the age of 45 are failing to see. They think that financial success is the ultimate shield for a family. That is a fatal mistake. At the beginning, I will start with a number. In the United States, the suicide rate among men spikes significantly when they enter middle age. It is twice as high compared to women of the same age. Twice. And the reason is not money. It is not health. It is not career. The reason is loneliness. Loneliness right in their own home, next to the wife they have lived with for 20 or 30 years. Today, I will talk about why that happens. And more importantly, I will talk about how to get out of it. But before starting, I need to make one thing very clear. This video is based on psychological research on a healthy relationship. If you are in a relationship with violence or abuse, that is a matter needing the intervention of experts and the law, not a YouTube video. But if you are feeling your marriage cooling down without knowing why, then this is exactly the conversation you need. Let me ask you straight. You have built a stable career, solid finances, a decent house. On paper, you are a successful man. But tonight, when sitting down for dinner with your wife, what do you two talk about? About children, about bills, about the schedule of next week. And after that, each person picks up the phone. Loneliness does not always have the shape of an empty room. Sometimes it has the shape of two people sitting next to each other without truly being together. So what happened? I have 5 answers for you, and I will not speak gently, because the truth is not gentle. 1. The shell of control. This is the man who, when you ask how do you feel, the answer is always I am fine. Everything is fine. Work is fine. Health is fine. Everything is under control. He believes that is maturity. That a true man does not complain, does not express, does not need anyone. But psychology calls that what? That is the process of turning oneself into an untouchable entity, and an untouchable thing cannot connect. The wife of that man does not hate him. She just does not know who he is anymore, because he has carefully built a perfect wall between himself and everyone, including the person he loves. I want to ask you this. When was the last time you told your wife that you were worried about something? Not explaining, not rambling, just sharing a real pressure you are carrying. If you cannot remember, then that is a problem. 2. The savior-hero syndrome. I know you have good intentions. I truly know that. When your wife says, "Today I am very tired and stressed," you immediately start analyzing the problem. Why she is tired, the solution, the specific steps she should take. You think that is your way of caring. But that is not what she needs. She does not need an action plan. She needs someone to sit down and say, "That sounds so hard. How are you feeling about that?" Research by Dr. John Gottman from the University of Washington, who studied thousands of couples for over 40 years, indicates that the biggest difference between happy and unhappy couples is not the frequency of conflict. It is the quality of listening. Sustainable couples have a ratio of positive to negative interactions of 5 to 1. 5 times of empathy for every 1 time of solution. What ratio are you at? 3. Emotional stagnation. This is the most subtle trap and the most dangerous one. You develop, the career develops, finances develop, physical fitness develops, but the way you love does not. You are loving your wife in the way of a 30-year-old man while she has changed a lot. You think that having been married for a long time means you do not need to prove anything anymore. That love is something already established and does not need maintenance. But think about the tree in your yard. You do not need to plant it again every day. But if you stop watering it, it will die. Not dying immediately, slowly day by day. And by the time you realize, it is too late to water. Ask yourself this. When was the last time you created a completely new experience with your wife? Not going to a familiar restaurant, not a vacation out of old habit, but something both have never done. Something that makes both look at each other and laugh like the first time meeting. 4. The wall of silence. Psychology has a term for this: normative male alexithymia, or translated as the emotional illiteracy of men according to social norms. This is the condition where men are not emotionless. They have full emotions like anyone else, but they do not have the words to express it. Because since childhood, society has taught them that emotion is weakness, that crying is unworthy of the title of a man, that silence is strength, and so they are silent. When conflict occurs, the man withdraws. He thinks that he is keeping the peace, giving his wife space. But his wife does not feel that. She feels rejection, abandonment, distance. And each time he silently withdraws, a thin layer of wall is built additionally between the two people. After 10 years or 20 years, that wall is so thick that both can no longer see each other. 5. Imposition of power. This is the man who believes his role as a provider allows him to make the final decision about finances, about vacations, about children, about everything. He does not do it out of malice. He does it because he believes it is his responsibility. But here is what relationship research points out very clearly. Inequality in power is the #1 enemy of voluntary bonding. When a person feels they have no voice, they will stop talking. Not because they have accepted it, but because they have given up. And a person who has given up inside is only a shell on the outside. Now let me bring you into the scientific context. In 2002, psychologist Becca Levy from Yale University put forward the stereotype embodiment theory. She discovered that when humans absorb and internalize negative stereotypes about their group, those stereotypes become reality in their behavior and health. For middle-aged men in America, what is that stereotype? That men aging lose value. That after the age of 45, a man begins to fade. That emotion and vulnerability are signs of weakness. When you believe in those things long enough, you begin to act as if they are the truth. You withdraw, you close the door, you build walls, not because you are weak, but because you are trying to protect your ego from something you believe cannot be changed. But stereotypes are not the truth, they are stories, and stories can be rewritten. There is another concept I want you to understand. Normative Male Alexithymia. This is not a disease. This is a result of socialization. From childhood, a boy is taught that crying is weak, that fear is shameful, that a man must be strong. After 40 years, that man no longer knows how to name what is going on inside him anymore. He is not emotionless. He has been deprived of the language to express emotions. And when he cannot express, he is silent. And that silence lasting long enough leads to hidden depression, to extreme loneliness, to the numbers I mentioned at the beginning of the video. This is not your destiny, but it will be your destiny if you do nothing to change. And this is the awakening point that I want you to truly stop and hear. When you cling to the standards of having to be tough, not being weak, not needing anyone, you are not becoming stronger. You are becoming more brittle. Because true strength does not come from rigidity. It comes from flexibility, from the ability to bend without breaking. The reed survives the storm not because it is hard, but because it knows how to bow. A man over 45 years old has enough experience to understand this. The question is whether he has enough courage to apply it. Because here is the truth that few people say straight to you. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is the most courageous act a man can perform in a relationship. When you say to your wife, "I am scared, I need to be supported, I do not know what to do," you are not losing power. You are inviting her into your real life. And that is the thing that most women have been waiting for from very long ago. Here is the secret I promised at the beginning of the video, the price of rigidity. A man rigid about emotions does not collapse in a dramatic way. He does not have a clear, shattering moment. He just gradually becomes invisible in his own life. His wife stops sharing because she knows he will not truly listen. His children do not look for him when facing difficulty. His friends become sparse. And one day he sits in his house, surrounded by people who love him, yet still feels completely alone. That is the price of rigidity. Not a big blow, but the slow erosion of all connections. So what do you do now? I have 3 concrete steps of practice for you. Step 1. 10 minutes of listening without solutions. Each night, spend 10 minutes just to listen. No phone, no television, no advice. Just look into the eyes of your wife and hear her speak. When she is finished, do not offer solutions. Just ask, "Do you want to tell anything more?" This practice sounds so simple, it is funny. But I guarantee you that if you do this regularly for 30 days, your relationship will change in a way that you do not expect. Step 2. Expand your emotional vocabulary. Instead of saying, "I feel bad," try to speak more specifically. "I feel anxious about the project next week. I feel tired and need space to recharge energy. I feel a need to be supported but do not know how to request it." Specificity, in emotional language, is a bridge. When you can name exactly what you are feeling, the other person can truly respond. Step 3. Reinvest in curiosity. Treat your wife as if you are in a new dating phase, not pretending, but truly curious. What is she most afraid of right now? What is she dreaming about? What makes her feel alive? You think you know the answer because you have been next to her for 20 years. But humans change. And the woman you married that day is not completely the woman sitting in front of you tonight. Meet that woman. I want to end with this. The true courage of a man over 45 years old is not winning an argument. It is not controlling everything within reach. It is not never needing anyone. True courage is being brave enough to expose your real self. To say I am not fine when you are not fine. To say I need you when you need. To say I love you in a way that she can truly feel. That is not weakness. That is the strength of a person who is mature enough to no longer need any mask. And here is the question I leave for you tonight. If your wife had to describe you to a stranger, what would she say about your internal world? Does she know what you are carrying, what you fear, what you crave? Or does she only know the external version that you have carefully set up throughout all those years? If this video makes you look at yourself in a different way, leave a comment of, "I want to change" below. Not for me, but for you to self-commit to yourself. Like and share this video to your friends who need to hear this. Do not forget to subscribe to the Femina Mind channel to continue this journey with us. See you again in the next video.